This novel was requested by Henry of More Clan. Enjoy the missing 8 chapters that didn't load. Chapter 75 to 84 Party Night. Cecily and the others have been very attentive to me. Probably because I have been acting absent-minded lately, ever since Sierra left the island. They've been acting kinder to me, even more than before. I'm not really sure, but I think I've been making a miserable face. Although I've been practicing my smile in front of the mirror, there's no way I can keep it up all the time. If anything, I have always been living a rather indifferent life, so I could say that I'm just honestly showing my sorrowful side. I only realized it after Sierra's no longer here, but I loved her more than any other woman I had ever met in this world. 1. I think we balanced on a thin rope, overcoming the differences in our race, and we maintained a special kind of relationship. And the day that I had slipped and fallen on that rocky ground, was the day that our relationship fell out of balance as well. Even if that hadn't happened, our relationship would still eventually come to an end. But even then, I wonder if we could have continued it for a little longer. Life is truly full of regrets. I heard a knocking sound in the front door, and moments later Rouge appeared. I'm back. I've chilled the beer you've put at the door by magic and put it in the storage room. Thanks. Sorry for troubling you, Rouge. You're welcome. Phew. It's really hot out there. It was midsummer on Monte Cristo Island, and the temperature had been near 40 degrees, too, every day. As Rouge took her off her sweat-soaked shirt, I took a good look and stared at her. It can't be helped, you know. I can't peel my eyes off the sight of how her sweat-drenched shirt clings to her breasts, how they follow upward when the shirt is pulled over her head, and finally bounced back downward when released from the constraints of the shirt. As a man, it's just normal to stare at such a scene, right? Though, it could also be that my sorrowness had abated so much that I'm now getting attracted to Rouge's breast. Shirausen, like I thought, you aren't like the usual men out there. Eh? What do you mean? I mean, most men don't look at a woman's bare breast with such a happy expression on their face. Is that so? Well, I'm sure men love to see boobs, but I don't think they would be as obvious as you do. Yeah. As expected, I think I was making a lewd face, but that is my honest nature. I can't lie about it. Hey, do you want to suck on them? Rouge tilted her head while lifting her heavy breasts with her hands. Thank you, but I think I'll just accept that it's the thought that matters. Anne. Rouge moaned as I used my index fingers to poke her breasts. We're home. Which at the exact moment Minna and Cecily came into the room. It seems Minna also feeling hot outside, since her top half is also naked. She has a slim body which shows her ribcage, with a nice pair of mounds nestled comfortably just above it, like a bowl. 3. It's a rather picturesque kind of bust that she has. As for Cecily, she's still wearing her shirts even on a hot day like this. She usually speaks in a rough tone, but I guess she actually has a good upbringing, though I can't ascertain it since she never talks about her past. What? What are you two doing? I froze as my index fingers are still poking into Rouge's breasts. It's 2 fingers. Is that some kind of pun? It's really hard to explain what I was doing. After all, having fun sometimes doesn't involve productive activities or logical reasoning. Also, something which lacks practicality can only be valued by using aesthetic or artistic scale, which applies to what I'm doing now with my 2 fingers. Oh wait. Maybe the men on this world don't find it enjoyable to poke on a woman's breast? Maybe that's why they're having a puzzled expression. 4. Well, it's somehow fun, I guess. It's fun for you, Okami-san. Please do it with my breast too. If I poked Rouge's breast but refused to do it with Minna's, won't it be called as preferential treatment? I guess it can be called as preferential treatment. Well, I would hate it if they say I'm giving preferential treatment. So here goes. Just a little, okay? I calmly poked hers gently and sympathetically, as if it was just a small tap, so they won't know how eager I am to do it. MMHH. Feels like a lightning ran through my body. Hold up. What kind of idiotic thing are we doing right now anyway? And in the middle of the day to boot. I've got an idea. Rouge suddenly shouted loudly. Shirausen, I think you'll get a lot of customers tonight, so please prepare a lot of food. Okay, got it. Minna and Cecily too, help me out, okay? Roger that. But it's supposed to be my turn to get my... And Rouge pulled the both of them in a hurry before Cecily managed to finish her sentence. What was all that anyway? But, it's true that thanks to Rouge, I've cheered up a little and has roused my little Joe more than a bit. Anyway, maybe she's planning to have some kind of event for tonight, which means that I'd better prepare for a bit more food than usual, just like she told me to. Goku number 1, get the vegetables from the field. Number 2, bring the deer loin and sirloin from the cellar and prepare it. Number 3 and 4, get some fish from Seema's. If you keep yourself busy enough with work, you can distract yourself from sorrow. After all, I'm going to give the customers tonight a grand feast, even if it would cut into my profitability. As I made ratatouille using the summer vegetables that Goku had collected, my mind became fully absorbed in my work. By the time Cecily and the others returned, it was time to open the shop. Welcome back. Can you please put on the board in front of there? What I was going to say was completely halted due to the appearance of the girls. It was already evening, and so the temperature had cooled down a lot, and yet Rouge and Minna were still shirtless. Not only them, but even Cecily was also shirtless now. The sign? Oh, I've put the "We're open" sign in front of the store. Don't worry. 2C. So, what would the three of you like for dinner tonight? As I put out the ratatouille from the pot and serve it on a platter, I suddenly had an idiotic thought about how I haven't poked my fingers into Cecily's chest yet. Hello, is there any vacant seat? It seemed that a customer just arrived at the same time the restaurant opened. Judging by the voice, it must be Master Elsa. Welcome. Please feel free to take a seat. I was at a loss at words since Master Elsa also appeared topless. No matter how wide my strike zone is, she is a woman over 70 years old, so I wasn't excited at all. Well, her face and body look youthful, like she is only about 40 years old, and if you only look at her abdominal muscles, you might even think that she's even younger. It's amazing how she can have such a six-pack at her age. I guess I'm actually into hot older ladies. Alright, I'm sorry, it made me excited a little. Okay, I'm an honest person, so I can't lie after all. Master Elsa, what's with such an appearance tonight? I heard you can't come to the store tonight unless you're being bare-chested. At least that's what the young woman over there told me, Master Elsa said while gesturing toward Rouge. Rouge said that? It's a party to cheer you up, Shirausen, Rouge said when she noticed my gaze. A party for me? It seems that when they went out before, they split up and told the regulars about the no-tops rule. Moreover, they also put up another sign next to the restaurant's signboard. Tonight is a topless theme. Please come without wearing anything on your upper body. Anyway, the regulars don't seem to perceive it as something lewd. They only think of it as a more comfortable way of drinking alcohol because it feels cooler like that, because of the heat. Well, certainly, even though if it's already evening, but the temperature is still quite hot and humid. Not only the temperature, I'm feeling hot too, because they're all topless, which made it difficult to hide the growing bulge in my pants. 6 beers, please. Even the 6 female warriors, who are regulars, were already taking off their clothes even though they're not drunk yet. But having an evening like this is not bad at all. Maybe I should keep holding this topless night event once a week during the summer. Cheers. The sound of mugs and glasses clinking overlaps with cheerful voices. For some reason, the customers are having a challenge to put the large beer mug on their chest and drink it from there. I can't even imagine what kind of things are popular in this world. I was sad to realize that Sierra was not here with me, but I was also happy to see how Rouge and the others were concerned about me. Somehow, the feelings of exhilaration and loneliness don't merge, leaving my heart with patches of different colors, like how a marble would have different shades of colors in them. Anyway, there are plenty of joyful things to experience in this world, which is comforting. Shiru, what can I get you, Cecily? Yeah, 2 fingers please. Huh? Is she talking about the alcohol amount in whiskey? Or the thing I did earlier in the day? Me, being half-assed as usual, poured 2 fingers of whiskey into a shot of glass and served it to her. And Cecily only silently took the glass and gulped it down. 5. CH-76. The adventurers have been exploring the 4th basement floor in the dungeons of Monte Cristo Island for some time now. The floor is quite large, with many paths branching out into a maze and very powerful monsters roaming about. Although good quality magic stones can be obtained here and there, and many treasures are often found, not many adventurers are strong enough to survive on this floor. It has been 5 months since the floor was accessible to the public, but no route leading further below has been discovered, or at least not yet until today, since the 6 female warriors, who are also regulars at Shiru's Inn, have found it. They have defeated the monster that was considered the boss of the floor and found a new stairway. The new floor was leading further below, but at a point it goes upward and seemed to continue until it's supposed to reach surface level elevation. Since the dungeon was located in the center of Monte Cristo Island, and the entrance is near the side of the mountain, perhaps the dungeon was actually within the mountain. 1. Is everyone's glass filled with wine already? Alright, cheers. Well done everyone, here's to our successful adventure. Tonight, I offered them sparkling wine that I had specially prepared for them. I am proud to say that it is as good as a champagne from France. This is good. I've never had anything like this before. Mister, this wine tastes absolutely amazing. It seems that even though there are wines in this world that contain bubbles, they have not managed to create such fine bubbles yet. The female warriors made gulping sounds while they chugged down their victory wine with a gusto. I made a whole keg of the wine, so I think there's enough even if they guzzle down that much. However, if we were in any host club right now, I'm sure they would get charged an exorbitant amount of money for it. After all, my Shiru Peragnon would be expensive, I'm sure of it. Well, no matter. I'm sure they would be fine even if they got charged ridiculous amount of money right now. They can afford it because they got their hand on an amazing treasure when they defeated the floor boss. The treasure is called the Staff of Lamessine, a hidden treasure that is said to have belonged to the great Marquis Lamessine II of the demon tribe. According to the lore, it is said to be the key to open a grimoire called Eminence Rock. It is decorated with numerous jewels and gold and is of high value both financially and artistically. It seems that the guild's purchase price would be no less than 300 million layman's. Word has spread that a high-ranking noblewoman will soon be arriving from the main continent to personally escort the treasure back to the mainland. Meanwhile, in contrast to the excited female warriors, the atmosphere of Cecily's party was more subdued, which is understandable, since they were exploring on the same floor at the time. Even their positions were fairly close with each other. With just a bit more luck, it would probably have been Cecily's party who had found the treasure. It must be nice, to find such a rare treasure. Compared to that, all we found were this. Minnie mumbles while rolling a stone in her hand. I've appraised the stone, and it was called Stone of Absolute Hit. It's about the size of a ping pong ball, and it will always hit whatever you're aiming at when you throw it. I do think it's quite an amazing item, though. I have borrowed it and played around with it, but its hit rate is really 100% success. It has a homing function, so the way it moves around when thrown was interesting. Even if you swing it with reckless abandon and throw it with all your might, it will still hit the target. You don't have to worry about control, so even I, who was bad at sports, was able to throw a decent fastball. Well, it's certainly convenient, I got to admit, but if you use it inside the dungeon, you'll lose it immediately. I guess it'd be hard to retrieve because it looks just like a normal stone, but maybe I can make some fluorescent paint that reflects light, that way it would be relatively easy to find it in the dark dungeon. However, I still need to keep secret that I can use magic, so maybe I'll just give the paint to them while pretending that it's something that I've been keeping around forever. Cecily's the only one who knows about the secret right now, and she's keeping it well enough that not even Rouge or Minna knows about it. In order not to raise suspicion that the number of Gillums have somehow increased unnaturally, recently I've been producing only the SEMA models. They won't raise any suspicion since they rarely come into contact with the adventurers. Meanwhile, I've moved some of the land golems that I've created over to the western island. Many Wonders-type golem are now lurking on the mountainside there, like packs of wild dogs. Too. Well, it might be more difficult to create golems now, but I still persevere, and as a result, my level has steadily increased. Creation Magic LV.17, all category creation time reduced by 21%. Improved quality of finished product, MP 3994 3994, MP recovery rate up, 10 MP/minute. Food production LV.16, creation time decreased by 32%. Tools production LV.15, creation time decreased by 30%. Weapon production LV.2, creation time decreased by 3%. Materials creation LV.12, creation time reduced by 25%. Golem production LV.12, Creation time reduced by 28%. Medicine production LV.10, creation time decreased by 18%. Repair LV.16, repair time reduced by 32%. Magical tool production LV.9, creation time reduced by 17%. Others ####. And finally, for the first time in a long time, a new golem can be made ####. Item production: metal golem mold type, LV1. Category: golem production opening parenthesis LV.12 closing parenthesis. MP consumption 252. Explanation: a mole-shaped metal golem. It excels at burrowing into the ground and collecting rare metals. It can detect trace amounts of gold, mithril, and orichalcone in the soil and take them into its body. Production time: 61 hours. ####. In terms of size, it is much larger than an ordinary mole. It's about the size of a capybara you'd see at a public aquarium. It seems to accumulate rare metals steadily, so if I let it go by itself to collect minerals for a year or so, I might be able to get quite a large amount. For rare metals like orichalcone, even 1 gram will fetch a fortune. I can make it by using material creation, but it takes 4000 MP of magic power just to make 1 gram, so it's impossible for now. Also, it would take about 4 weeks, which is too long. Since it seems useful, I quickly made one of the mole-type golem and sent it to the mountain. If I'm lucky, it might find a mineral deposit or something. My everyday routine now is making new golems and developing new drinks. I consider myself as living a fulfilling life. The variety of crops in the field has also increased. I've even grown a watermelon now. The watermelon juice was really popular for summer season, so I ended up making a stall in front of the dungeon. I ordered Goku number 3 to wear a Hukamaki 3, and work solely at the stall like a shop owner uncle, and it was making a lot of sales. However, that too is about to end. I can feel the change in the air. Summer is definitely coming to an end. It will be autumn soon. I was walking through the commercial district when I was approached by a familiar shopkeeper. "Oh Kamisn, did you hear about the new ship arriving near the cove?" I wondered if another fleet of boats with new cargo and adventurers had arrived. "Is that so? I wonder if that means I'll finally get the book that I've ordered soon." I've paid Madame Demers a hefty sum of money to order several books. In this world, there is no service like online shopping where you can order a book and it will be delivered the next day. It had been 5 weeks since I've placed my order. No, the ship arriving this time is carrying a person with high position. I heard she's coming here to personally handle the rare treasure that everyone's been talking about. I guess it's about the staff of Lamessine that was found by the warrior ladies. The ship that arrived was probably the one that was sent by the Empire to receive the treasure because it was so valuable. Isn't it surprising? The person who came here is a noblewoman, Countess Vibbles. To think that such an important person is coming to this island. That's right. I've went there to see it myself, and I saw 7 warships were moored further into the ocean. With that many escorts, I guess the treasure must be really valuable indeed. They were brand new warships, so it was a spectacular sight. "Oh Kamisn, don't you want to see it for yourself?" "I don't think I can, since I need to prepare my own shop." I decided to stay away from the harbor, since it brings back memories of when I was first sent to this world and was almost raped when the patrolling soldiers found me. When the survey team came, Commander Lot Graham kept a tight leash on her soldiers, so I didn't have any problems. But there was no telling if this Countess Vibbles would be a decent person or not. After all, there's a saying that, the wise man does not court danger. And so I decided to shut myself in my cave, leaving my work to Goku and the others and just indulge in my erotic novel. Suppose that someone dig a tunnel into the mountain, they might end up accidentally opening the 5th level dungeon and let loose a barrage of powerful monster. Brrrr. Scary. 2. Won't this create a problem later? 3. A headband like these. Source: https://dictionary.goo.ni.jp/word// https://store.bonparamol.com/yarukan/good/4560320836186/. For once, Shiru did something wise and stay out of trouble. Also, the phrase refers to quote by Aristotle. The wise man does not expose himself needlessly to danger, since there are few things for which he cares sufficiently. but he is willing, in great crises, to give even his life knowing that under certain conditions it is not worthwhile to live. Mo WNPC, personally, I think Vebbles is going to come to Shiru's bar, see him, and decide that she's taking him back with the staff. I sense war coming to the shores of Monte Cristo Island. CH-77. As I was about to open the store and put up the sign, I noticed a group of 3 young women I had never seen before gathering around in front of the store. I think they've come because they have saved up some money, but still unsure whether they should go in or not because my restaurant looks like a high-end store. Welcome. Tonight we're going to have a delicious shrimp meal on the menu. We also have chilled beer and white wine, so please drop by if you like. I gave them my best shopkeeper smile. Would 5,000 lemons enough for one person? If you have that much, it'd be enough for a full meal and a few drinks. We're going in then. Each of their reactions was cute and innocent. I feel like giving them a bit more service than I usually do for tonight. I then lead them to their table and gave them the warm towels. You may wipe your hands by using these towels. Shall I take your order for the drink now? A draft beer for me. I heard there's a kind of drink called K. Can we order it? It seems like these adventurers have heard about these drinks from their friends, since in this world, it can only be found in my restaurant. By the way, K is a cocktail made from crème de cassis, blackcurrant liqueur, topped with white wine. It tastes sweet and sour and is a popular aperitif at the restaurant. I'll have a K, too. Understood. Number 2, bring 1 draft beer and 2 Ks, please. I relayed the order to Goku and returned to face the customers again. All 3 of them were around 20 years old, with a youthful look on their faces. I take it this is the first time you are visiting this restaurant, dear customers? Yes. We made good money today after defeating some big monsters, so we're thinking of having something good to restore our adventuring spirit. Allow me to congratulate you on your achievement. Then I'll be sure to cook you something that will give you a lot of strength for exploring the dungeon, so I hope you'll leisurely enjoy your time here. What would you like to eat? When I showed them the menu board, they looked puzzled. It seems like they didn't know what to order. If you like, I could set up an omakase, 1 course, which will be around 2,500 lemons each. Would it be fine with you? When I told them the set price, they all nodded in agreement. Yes, just leave it to your Unison here. I'll make sure that you will have a wonderful experience. Oh, and it seems like they are going to eat a lot, so I better make a bigger serving. While I was serving the appetizer of shrimp and mushroom mousse, a new customer came in. Welcome. Oh my, if it isn't Madame Damas. It's rare to see you here at this hour. Madame Damas seemed to be walking with swaying, heavy steps. She was wiping sweat from her forehead with a handkerchief. That's weird. I've set up magical tools as air conditioner so the temperature here shouldn't be too hot for her. Well, actually, I'd like to, ask for a favor from you, Okami-san. Tonight, Madame Damas doesn't seem too sharp. She seems troubled somehow. Do you have some problem I can help you with? Maybe they ran out of liquor in the brothel? If it's something like that, there's no need for Madame to go out of her way and came here herself. It would be enough just to send someone here. Well, the truth is, if possible, I would like Okami-san to come to our store. As in, right now. Wow, this person. She's asking something unreasonable again, isn't she? I might be flexible with how I run my store, but obviously I can't do that since I'm having customers right now. I'm sorry, but I'm in the middle of doing business right now. As you can see, currently I'm serving customers. I'm well and truly aware of it. And yet I still have to insist on making such request. Madame Damas clasped her hands together, pleading to me. It seems like serious circumstances have transpired. Yes. As a matter of fact, I'm sure you're aware that currently, a person of high position has come from the capital to this island, right? That's right. If I remember correctly, she is a countess of some sorts. Yes, I heard she came here to safeguard the treasure that has been found. That's right. Countess Vibbles is currently staying at our residence for tonight. Madame's mansion is the most luxurious one you can find on this island, so it makes sense for a person of such caliber to be staying there. And what does it have to do with me? Well, I was thinking that she must be tired from the long voyage, so I offered her drinks and food as a small but cordial welcome. Also, I thought that it would be rather lonely to drink wine without a companion, so I sent Clive to accompany her. However, I guess it makes sense to send Clive since he's the most popular male prostitute in the brothel. Countess Vebbel's butler has sent Clive away, saying that he's not suitable as a drinking partner. Why so? Apparently Countess Vebbels got angry and said something along the lines of, "How dare you send a low-class prostitute to be my drinking partner? Send someone better instead," or so I heard. Oh dear, that's awfully rude towards Clive. I painfully realize that we don't have any high-class male prostitutes that may be considered acceptable for aristocrats or their consorts. But then, I suddenly remember that we have Okamisan here on this island. So basically, you just want me to be the drinking partner of some noble, is that it? If it's Okamisan, who has been spending lots of money on books while living on this island, I'm sure you'd be acceptable as a drinking companion. What to do now? Frankly, I don't know much about common sense in this world. I have a feeling if I agree to accompany her as drinking partner, I might accidentally do something rude and she might scold me with something like, "Insolent fool," and then I might get flogged, assaulted, or something strange being done to me. I don't really have any great obligation to Madam, so I'm going to refuse here. I'm sorry, I think it's impossible for me after all. On top of having customers at the moment, my knowledge of etiquette is sorely lacking. That's not true at all. Compared to our boys, you are as different as a rose from horse dung. Is that this world's way of saying like the difference between the moon and the stars? While talking to Madame Damas, I continued to cut up the cockatrice galantine and serve it to the new adventurers. It was still hot, so I'm sure they would appreciate this dish. Okamisan, please. Couldn't you do something about it? The madam was quite insistent, but I ultimately refused, so she could do nothing but slumped her shoulders and leave. Soon the restaurant became busy with the return of Cecily and others from their dungeon exploration, as well as the arrival of other customers. It happened while I was serving the first group of adventurers a platter of 3 kinds of ice cream as today's dessert. The door flew open with a loud bang, and several female soldiers barged inside the store. Where is the man called Shiru? A woman in her 30s, dressed up in fancy clothes, called out firmly. She had a very sharp look in her eyes, and her bob cut seems to suit her appearance very well, too. She has the same atmosphere as the bureaucrat of the company where I used to work, Chief Katagiri. Back then, she felt like the type of person that you want to tease a little. This person, too, I felt like I wanted to tease. That would be me. Is something the matter? I am the butler of Countess Vebbels, and my name is Wolf. We have heard report that you had said some very rude things about my ladyship. What? I'm sure I haven't said anything rude about her, though. I can assure you such thing never happened. The only thing that happened was Madame Damas requested of me to become a drinking partner, but I politely declined the offer. Really? Well, according to Madame Damas, you told her that you had no interest to be in the company of a lecherous aristocrat. Wait. Hold up. I only thought that in my mind and never said it out loud. Damn it. Or could it be that Madame Damas was saying that to save her own skin? Even if you say so, I really have no recollection of it. Stop lying. I'll have you know that the Countess is an honorable woman. To have such ulterior motives is beneath her. I'm sure she is. Therefore, Lady Vebbels hates male prostitute. Just the idea of lying together with a man who would sell his dignity is unfathomable to her. I trust that is the case. That's why you can rest assured and accompany my ladyship for drinking. However, would a woman of such honor allow a commoner to drink with her? Or maybe she's just a green pawn when it comes to romance? But the issue still stands. I have a business to run. I'll pay your recompense, so I'll have you to come with us. That being said, bringing a bunch of soldiers like this, it's kind of a blackmail, isn't it? Cecily was about to stand up with bloodlust, but I pressed on her shoulders and made her sit down again. Considering her personality, I think she's about to cause a huge brawl against the Imperial soldiers. No matter how strong Cecily is though, there's no way she can beat 7 warships worth of soldiers. Even if I mobilized all my golems here, the only thing that awaits us is a crushing defeat. Cecily, don't worry. Please leave it to me. But, Shiru, I calmed Cecily down and then moved toward Mina. Mina, I want to look more fanciful, so lend me your ring. When I said the ring, I was talking about the invisibility ring, and it seems Mina understand it. I'm gonna need it as insurance. Of course. Here you go, Okamisan. Mina then continues in whisper, there is still 2 more charges. She also gave me 4 balls of light. So there's still 2 out of 3 charges. It only took 18 seconds anyway, so I quickly cast Repair on it. This way I can become invisible 3 times, for 3 minutes. I can't be certain of what will happen, but I should at least be able to escape if need be. Besides, the possibility of Countess Vebbels being within my strike zone is still very real. 3. It felt like being back in the sales industry for the first time in a long time. The difference is now I had to go out to entertain a drinking party. 1. A marquise means leaving it to the other party, which means Shiru will choose the menu for them. 2. Somehow, I have a mental image of her being a Karen dressed in suit. WNPC, honestly same. 3. Meaning that if Shiru finds the Countess attractive enough, he's going to willfully offer her his flower. Staff. CH-78. Miss Wolf, the butler, had come in a horsey-drawn carriage, so we rode together back to the commercial district. During the short trip to Madame Demmer's residence, she gave me a few pointers that I needed to be aware of when meeting the Countess. The Countess is a very quiet woman. She never speaks about anything unnecessary. Her mood is not bad at the moment, so you don't need to worry too much about what to say for now. Seems like a difficult person to deal with. Basically, you should answer honestly what you are asked, but you should refrain from saying or doing anything that would denigrate the Countess. Certainly, that is the case. In the past, I've had sales training on how to deal with clients. Even if someone as ugly as a whale asks you the question, "Am I pretty?" then you can deal with it by saying, "I love how pretty your fingers are." If you look closer at something, there is always at least a point of interest that you can compliment on. It could be the hair, the shine of her skin, or the shape of her nails. In the extreme case of there's no single point that I can compliment on, then well, I'll just cry on behalf of both of our terrible luck. 1. By the way, are you married, Okamison? Ms. Wolf asked while looking at the ring at my left hand. It was the invisibility ring that I had borrowed from Mina, and I'm now wearing it on my left hand's middle finger. There's no particular reason why I wear that there, aside from the fact that it is the only finger that fits the ring. In this world, married men are supposed to wear a ring on the middle finger of their left hand. Actually, no. I'm not married. Do you want me to take it off? It's fine like that. Mr. Wolf seemed to be thinking about something but was relieved that I did not have to take off the ring, because if push comes to shove, I'm going to use it to disappear and run away. Still, in the end they basically strong-armed me to play the role of a host. 2. Living in a feudal society sure is hard. But then again, if I had refused them back then I'm sure we would have ended up fighting for our lives, and really don't want Cecily to be involved in this. On top of that, Cecily seemed to really hate the Imperial Guard, so I have a feeling she might do something reckless again. This is really worrisome. I only need to be a drinking companion, right? Yes. That's right. Wasn't there a weird pause just now? I don't know what will happen, but I have some countermeasures in mind. Let's see what comes out of it. Also, there is still the possibility that Countess Vebbels is actually a very wonderful woman. 3. By the way, how old is her ladyship's age? She's 31 years old. Yeah, not bad. It's still in my range preferences. When I arrived at the mansion, Madame Demers was waiting for me in the main hallway. Okamison, thank you for coming all the way here. That's rich coming from you. Weren't you the one who said things that I've never said to the butler? The madam shook her head in surprise. I assure you, I didn't say anything. I only relayed them how you were unable to join us. Hold on. So it's a false accusation made up by the slant-eyed butler? So she slandered me in order to have an excuse to bring me here. Can you explain what's the meaning of all of this? I glared at the butler. Don't worry your pretty little head about it. I'll be checking for any hidden weapon or dangerous item now, before you present yourself in front of the Countess. Ignoring my words, the butler began to frisk me. This woman, I really want to pin her arm behind her back and spank her butt. And then I want to hear her wailing, saying hey. I'm sorry. I finally managed to calm my anger by fantasizing her being punished, while the body check continued. As expected, I didn't have to take off my clothes, though I think she's being a little too careful. She searched the area around my inner thighs 3 times. As if confirming that my little Joe is not really a weapon. Normally I would feel aroused by having my personal part being handled, even if a bit roughly, but for tonight my mood tended towards being sadistic instead. I looked down and gave her a cold stare, declaring that I don't feel anything from how she touched me down there. Actually, my little Joe was half standing though. Anyway, it's good that they didn't take the invisible ring away from me. They didn't even notice the ball of light that I kept in my pocket. It seems like they only expect a regular knife or something. I could say their security was lacking, but maybe they just let down their guards because men usually can't use magic. After the inspection was over, it was finally time to meet Countess Vebles herself. I was taken to the interior of the mansion, where I've never set foot before. As I have said several times, my strike zone is wide. I even dare say that it's 1.4 times wider than most guys my age. And in the case of a nightstand, I can confidently say that it would be 1.6 times wider than average. Unfortunately, though, Countess Vebles was one of the balls that falls outside the zone. 4. I loved her slightly oversized breasts, and her lustrous well-groomed hair. I liked her overly large mouth, and I didn't dislike her seemingly cold eyes. However, this person was not friendly, not at all. Eyes really hard to like someone who never smile at all, you know. Even if someone has difficulty regarding their appearance or style, the moment they let out a smile it would reveal their charming points, or at least that's how is it for me. In contrast, Countess Vebles, even though she was beautiful, is austere and completely devoid of kindness. You drink this. It's not the kind of drink you commoner would be able to buy. Even the way she said it really rubbed me the wrong way. And so I used repair on the liquor to check it, and the result was appalling. Repair target, wine, with sleeping pills. MP consumption, repair time, unable to repair the target. This woman, it seems like she was having the same idea that I had. I had also secretly brought a sleeping pill that I've made with medicine production, and intended to put it in her drink when she looks away and escape, but it seems like she had beaten me to it. Seriously, is she for real? How is it even enjoyable to do it with unresponsive partner anyway? Though, the act of removing a piece of a cloth of your partner, while your heart is beating hard thinking whether if she's going to wake up or not, might be fun in its own ways. 5. No, what am I talking about? There's no way such thing is permissible. What's wrong? No need to hold back. Drink. Yes. I pretended to take a tiny sip. It's delicious. Unfortunately, I'm weak to alcohol, so even a little bit of it would made me quite tipsy, I'm afraid. At my words, the Countess smiled for the first time in the night. I'm a bit uncertain, but it looks a bit predatory. Don't be shy and drink as much as you like. By the way, you have a very beautiful skin. Oh my, flattery will get you nowhere, my lady. And I really mean it. No use in flattering me since I already know about the sleeping pill. No, it's true. Even back in Lulu Sanjian, it would be hard to find any man with skin as beautiful as yours. The Countess was staring at me with passionate gaze. For me to receive such praise. During the lull in the conversation, it feels as if the Countess' desire itself has permeated the room. My lady, too, please have some of the drink. I'd feel bad otherwise. I took an empty glass and poured some wine while discreetly slipped my own sleeping pill into it while pretending to serve her the wine. But when I bent forward with my arms outstretched, I seemed to position myself too close to the Countess. It seems to be all it took to blow her reasoning away as she suddenly pushed me down. 6. Even though I should be able to smartly handle this situation, it seems like I've made a terrible blunder. I was supposed to be able to outwit her like a spy of opposite sex setting up a honey trap, but here I am on the sofa, with Countess Vebles pinning me down. Hey, wait. Stop it. My resistance seems to have triggered some kind of her fetish, since the Countess has become even more excited. She is holding my hands above my head and trying to unbutton my shirt with her other hand. Maybe because she's an aristocrat that she doesn't just outright rip my clothes off. Anyway, I can't hope to use the invisibility ring like this, unless I can somehow splash her face with the spiked twine first. I can't even reach the ball of light in my pocket. I got it. Please release me first, and then you can do whatever you want. I pretend to stop resisting, and the moment she let go of my hand I'll throw the ball of light to her face. I steeled myself waiting for such moment. However, the Countess never releases my hands from her grip. It seems like all of the blood has rushed towards her head. Moreover, She seemed to be doing it clumsily and was taking a lot of time to undo my buttons. It must be difficult for her to unbutton my shirt with only her right hand. Suddenly, a nostalgic memory came back to my mind. It was an autumn day during my second year of junior high school. Me and the boys had gathered at our classmate Murata's house and were playing a multiplayer game. Eventually we got tired of playing the game, and I can't remember how it all started, but we then decided to practice our skill in unhooking bras. Murata got us a training object by secretly took her elder sister's bra. At first, Murata tried to bring his mother's bra, but Tanaka and Saito objected, so he used his sister's bra instead, if I remember correctly. I didn't mind using his mother's bra for training though, but Tanaka and Saito were absolutely having none of it. I guess it's just proof that my strike zone had always been wide. Her sister's bra was a large one, with many patterns of small flowers which I don't know the name of printed on it. As I recall, her sister's name was Sayuri, and she was a mother of 2 children at the time. None of us had girlfriends at that time, but we trained desperately for that day when we were going to step into adulthood, so each of us took turns wearing the bra over our shirts and we practiced on each other. We also practiced trying to remove it with just one hand, since we thought it'd be cool if we could quickly take off the shirt and the bra in one go. Murata's sister never did find out about this, but all of us gave her a present for the white day. 7. I'm really sorry about it and have regretted it now. You could say it was our youthful indiscretion. I was reminiscing such black pages on the history of my life for some time, but even after I came back to the situation at hand, the Countess was still having a hard time with my 4th button. This woman really isn't the sharpest tool in the shed, isn't she? Hey, you're supposed to be the Countess, right? To think that you'd take this long just for struggling with the button on my shirt. You lack training. What a completely inexperienced person. My back is hurting already because of how long she has been straddling me. Well then, I guess it's time to take this seriously and do something about it, otherwise my chasteness will be in jeopardy. Ch 79. Chapter 79, Timing. Beta reader, my _own_worst NPC. Alright. Let's seriously think about a countermeasure now. Let's see what my options are. 1. Use the strength of my abdominal muscles to tip the Countess off balance. Out of the question. The difference in power is too obvious since the Countess can use body enhancement magic, not to mention the absurd difference in arm strength. 2. Wait for a chance to escape. I will get raped long before I get the chance to escape. At least that's the feeling that I've got based on my encounter with Janice. 3. I'll make bread by using my food production magic and choose her mouth as the designated place to make it appear. The bread is the size of a fist, so she will surely be surprised and move her body away from me. Then I'll use the chance to throw the ball of light, become invisible and then escape. It might get discovered that I can use magic, and most likely I won't be able to live on this island ever again, but it's still better than being forced to have sex with her. If you want to do it with me, it's better if you try to flirt like a normal person would do. You damn aristocrat. I would still probably refuse you, though. Anyway, I'm able to keep my composure in situations like this because I still have cards to play. Now that I think about it, I could also use repair on the heavy vase at the corner of the room and make it appear just above her head. After taking such a long time, the Countess finally finished unbuttoning my shirt and threw it wide open. And then she suddenly grabbed my glass of wine and splashed it across my chest. I watched in disbelief as the red wine dripped all over me. Huh? What? Don't tell me she's going to. Watching the Countess' next action made me forget to follow up on my plan with the bread. I had doubts of what she's going to do. But the Countess then put her mouth on my wine-soaked chest and began to noisily slurp on it. What an idiot. This woman is a true, veritable, bona fide idiot. She just drank the wine that's being served to me, the one she herself spiked with the sleeping pills. Slurp slurp ha, ha, ha. Alright, the sleeping pills should start working now. Slurp ha, ha, anytime now. Slurp slurp. Why isn't it working yet? Slurp snore. Wow, it turns out she fell asleep while still sucking. That's actually amazing, really. Anyway, that was a close call indeed. While it's true that I'm saved by her idiocy, it's such a shame that a woman like this is being tasked to escort an important treasure. But I understand that aristocracy is something that is passed down, which means there's bound to be both good and bad people among them. 1. I wanted to scribble on the Countess' face as punishment for her almost raping me, but I don't think I would be satisfied with it. 2. I looked around the room to see if I could find anything, but there was nothing that caught my eye. There was, however, another door on the opposite side of the living room, and it seemed to lead to a bedroom. I thought she might keep valuables in there, so I quickly snuck in and checked around, and sure enough, there it was, the staff of Lamasine that the Countess was supposed to escort back to the mainland. It was carefully stored in a magnificent treasure box wrapped in a purple silk cloth. It was also locked, but I was able to easily remove it by using repair. Yeah, I'm going to steal this. Only for one night though. It should be a good enough punishment for her to panic at the thought of losing the precious treasure that she's supposed to escort back. This is the punishment for sucking at my chest. I took out the staff, thrilled at the prospect of getting back at her. Alright, I can't just take it like this, or I would be found out immediately. No way to do it but by using repair, I guess. Repair target, Staff of Lamasine. MP consumption, 62. Repair time, 1 minute. Description: a treasured staff that belonged to the great Marquis Lamasine II of the Demon Tribe. By using its power, a person can equip oneself with magical armor eminence rock. Magical armor eminence rock, I don't know what it is, but it has a spell written on it, so let's give it a try. I wonder if it could work on me? The moment I chanted the spell, a band of black light shot out from the staff and enveloped my body, and before I realized it I was wrapped in a tight-fitting dress. I say my body was wrapped up, but at least 37% of it was actually being exposed. Whoa. This is just like the outfit that Revo wore during the Hot Limit MV3. Amazing. I felt like I could do anything now, as if immense power was gushing forth from deep inside me. Let's try testing it by lifting something heavy. As I looked around, I saw the Countess sleeping comfortably. Looking at her like this, she could easily pass as being beautiful, though. When I put my hands under her back and tried to lift her up, I found out that I could easily do it. It feels so light, as if I was only lifting some balloons. Also, even though this outfit almost felt like see-through clothes, I could feel that its defensive capabilities were high. 4. This is bad. I think I really got my hands on something amazing here. After putting the Countess back on the bed, I used another spell to cancel equipping the magical armor. Alright, let's quickly get out of here for now. I've had a plan in mind for stealthily borrowing the Staff of Lamasine. Although I could just use repair on it to make it out of existence for a while, I need to further reinforce the impression that there's no way I could be carrying it away. So I took off my wine-soaked shirt, and then I pulled down my trousers and was just walking around in my underwear. This way, no matter if anyone saw me, no one would ever think that I was carrying anything, right? And then I opened the exit door, while pretending to be crying. Outside, in the hallway, there was the butler and the soldiers. Some of them were sitting in chairs. They were startled to see me, but they seemed to have guessed what had happened. From their point of view, I must have seemed like a pitiful boy who was still in shock after being violated. Is it over already? You are a Hicks sob. I quickly headed towards the exit without answering any questions while still pretending to cry, but nobody stopped me at all. About half of them looked at me with lecherous eyes, but the other half of them looked at me with pity. One of the soldiers tore the curtains off the window and draped them over me. You poor thing. Please be careful on your way home. Even among rotten people, there are always kind people too. It's not as if this world is only filled with bad people. Anyway, I'm sure they would never suspect that I stole the Staff of Lamasine. Now let's quickly go home so I can experiment more with it. As I ran through the back streets of the commercial district, the Wonder and Harry type golems joined me from behind. I had these guys standing by near the mansion, so they could quickly rush in when I yelled, as a last resort in worst-case scenario. In that scenario, I'd been planning to quickly flee toward Western Island, since it would mean that I'd be in an all-out confrontation with the Empire. Shiru. A voice came out from the darkness of the alley, which turned out to be Cecily. Shiru, you. Oh my god. Cecily was shocked when she saw me basically naked and draped in curtain. Don't worry, I'm fine. I managed to successfully escape from that place. Mostly successful, though. I still got my chest sucked by that woman. When I showed her a smile, Cecily became relieved, Did you come all the way here because you were worried about me? Yeah, I saw Wanda standing by, so I was prepared to rush in with them in case of emergency. 5. Thank you. Cecily's consideration and feelings for me made me feel happy. But it also made me feel bad. I knew that she liked me. I also knew that she was still feeling guilty over what happened because of Janice. But I still couldn't get over Sierra. That's why, even though I've been craving bodily contact and the warm feeling of someone's skin, I've never been in the mood to do it with anyone. I know that I've always been terrible at initiating a relationship, but the reason right now is, whenever I try to reach out to someone, the memory of Sierra always nudges at the back of my mind. Even though I feel aroused whenever I see a woman, and even if I think about having sex with someone, I can't help but replay in my mind the scene of the rocky hill in Western Island where Sierra and I's bodies were entangled with each other. And even now. Still, Cecily, I'm truly sorry. Don't worry about it. I only did it because I felt like it. I wish you would stop talking like that, since it makes me feel more guilty. Up until now, Cecily has never asked me for anything, not even once. And it's been that way since the first time I'd met her. She's reserved, hardworking, serious, and has never tried to touch me out of her own volition. Even though she's beautiful, has a good style, and a great personality, I wonder why we never got into the relationship. Even though she's the person I've known for the longest time in this world, after Chris. I guess it's just because the timing was terrible for us to be together. That's all I can conclude. 6. I guess that's just the way it is. 1. There's bound to be both good people and bad people among higher-ups. IMO. 2. Not a good idea too, I think, since making a doodle of her on an aristocrat's face might be considered as a capital offense. 3. He's referring to TM, Revolution music video Hot Limit. You might search Hot Limit video if you want to know Shiru's appearance when using Eminence Rock. For well, if we go by MUP rules, usually the most revealing outfit, for females, has the highest stats. 5 to 6. Dang, our girl Cecily just got friendzoned. Ironically, I think if only she double-checked Janice's body and made sure she's dead, she would end up together with Shiru. I mean, no, Janice means Sierra didn't need to come to help, and Shiru wouldn't get his heart taken by Sierra by the time Cecily returns there. CH 80. Chapter 80, Let It Be. May 20th. 2023. Beta reader, my_own_worst_NPC. The restaurant had been closed by the time we got back to the cave, and both Minna and Rouge were waiting for us. Welcome back, you two. Oh God. Oh Camis. The two of them burst in tears when they saw me almost naked under the curtains. Don't worry, I'm fine. It was a dangerous situation, but I managed to get out of there safely. Really? Yeah. That woman drank wine laced with sleeping pills that she had prepared for me. I then explained to them what happened. Wait, hold on, doesn't that mean she got to suck on your chest? Ugh, how regrettable. Truly vexing, it makes my blood boils. The two were stomping their feet hard with frustration. But the one whose chest got sucked by isn't so bothered with it, though. Calm down, you two. It already happened, so no point in fussing over it. Oh Camis, aren't you being too carefree about it? If you're being so unconcerned about it, it means you won't mind if I suck your chest right now, right? 1. I ignored Rouge's request and decided to ask another question instead. Have 3 of you eaten anything yet? When I left the restaurant, I only got to see them for a while before I had to go, but it seemed that the Gokus has served them food along with the other customers. It's amazing how the Gillums are learning things every day and becoming smarter. If that's the case, how about we get something to drink? I'll also make some snacks to go along with it. You should put on some clothes first, though. Rouge and Minna were intensely staring at my body, but Cecily doesn't seem to know where to look. I went into my room and opened my closet, thinking what I should wear for now. I'm really glad that everyone is here tonight. Cecily came because she was worried for me, while Minna and Rouge helped keep watch over the store. Maybe I should give them a little something back. With that in mind, I finally decided and picked something to wear. And then I opened the door. Shiru's. Oh Camis, that outfit. The outfit that I was wearing? It's something called a naked apron. Well, not really naked though, since I'm still wearing my underwear. Oh, it seems like Cecily is fine with staring at me now. This is it. This is the essence of exhibitionist fetish. That night, We drank together until late into the night. After the ladies had retired to their rooms, I then locked the door and placed Iwao and the others in front. I then took out the staff of Lamessine that I had hidden and posed in front of the mirror. Equip armor! Exclamation mark. Long bands with midnight color erupted from the 40-centimeter long staff and instantly enveloped me, like a knight's armor. Yeah, this is cool. The magic armor Eminence Rock is a full body suit of black dominant color, with purple jewels and red lines in some places, and it looks very cool. And even though it's full plate, it doesn't feel heavy at all. In fact, my body feels lighter than it really is. Too. It also feels like I can do any kind of movement that I want now, which is how flexible my body has become. I tried doing a backflip as a test, and I was able to do it with ease. Normally, I wouldn't even be able to do a proper forward roll. The gauntlets on my hands seems to be able to fire two types of light magic attacks, a convergent beam and a diffused beam. In addition, there are sword hilts on the left and right thighs that can generate light blades. However, I found out that the magic armor consumes 1 MP per second of magic power just by equipping it. I have 3994 MP, so I think I have enough leeway, but I will have to be careful not to run out of magic power. I wanted to check the performance of this armor outside, but it would be a big problem if someone saw me. Well, I'm planning to return this tomorrow anyway, so let's just stop here and go to sleep instead. The next day, I felt restless from the morning I woke up. Now that I think about it, I was the only outsider who entered the Countess' room. Even though I practically came out of the room wearing nothing. But if they found out the staff was missing, there's no guarantee that I would not be suspected. But if they really come searching, I can hide it again by using repair, so they wouldn't be able to find it no matter where they look. I've scratched the staff by using some 10-iron coin, by the way. Alright, it wasn't a 10-iron coin, but I certainly was using a copper coin. Anyway. The opponent this time is a powerful and influential person who is willing to do unscrupulous things. Based on popular works that I've read, they are not above just grabbing someone suspicious out of the blue and torturing them until they make a false confession. I was afraid that would happen, so I've told Popo to fly to the Seamers and relay to them to get the sailing ship ready so I can evacuate from this island as soon as possible if anything were to happen. Mina, I'm sorry, but can you sell me the invisibility ring? There's the possibility that I'll need to use it and won't be able to return it as it is now. Yeah, I guess I'll need the invisibility ring too, for a mean of escaping. You don't have to buy it, Okami-san. Feel free to use it however you wish. Regardless, I put 10 gold coins, worth 1 million lemons, into Mina's hand. I hoped it would be enough for her to start living somewhere else if the fallout of the situation turns bad. And while a normal person can only use it 3 more times, I have repair, so I can use it indefinitely, though maybe I have 7 seconds interval during recharging. Also, if worse comes to worst, if I use the spell Eminence Rock to put on the magical armor, I'm confident I would be able to outrun them. I was bracing myself the whole morning, but there was no sign of the Countess or her soldiers coming to look for me at all. I wonder why. Could it be that they are still unaware that the staff of Lamessine has been stolen? That might be the case though, since the lock that I temporarily removed to obtain the artifact was a pretty sturdy magic item. I managed to phase it out of existence after I did a minor scratch on the lock, but I think trying to unlock it by normal means would actually be really difficult. The Countess might think that since the lock is still in place, naturally the artifact must still be inside it too. And so, after wasting the whole morning just feeling restless and worried, I finally decided that it was time to prepare lunch. Is the restaurant open? I'm coming in. It was the voice of Master Alza. She looked really tired as she entered. Oh my. Please come right in. It's rare for you to come at this hour. What happened? We usually don't serve lunch and usually not open until dusk. So anyone visiting at this hour is really unusual. Master Alza let out a heavy sigh. I know this is off hours, but I just finally done with a really annoying work. Can I order a beer? Even just a glass will do. It's no problem at all. Alright, Goku. Just before I can give the Goku any order, number 1 and number 2 had already sprinted toward the storage room as if they were competing. Recently, their speed of learning is really impressive. Somehow, you look really exhausted, Master Alza. I sure as hell am. Okami, Did you know that some noblewoman was dispatched from Lulu Sanjian? Unfortunately, I do know about her, no matter how much I prefer otherwise. Well, I've heard news of it. She was sent here to escort the retrieval of a certain treasure, but she's really an annoying and loathful fellow. It seems Master Alza was coordinating with Countess Vebles for the delivery of the treasure artifact. It seems like you've had a lot of trouble. I prepared her some snacks by grilling squid that I had planned to have for lunch, and made some cold sauce using fresh tomatoes, onion, olive oil, and other herbs. Meanwhile, Master Elsa contentedly chugged the cold beer that Goku served. Well, that's all in the past now, since she's already went back. Good riddance. That's certainly wonderful news to hear. Wait, she went back already? Yeah, she left first thing in the morning. Is something wrong? She already went back home? But, I still have the staff of Lamessine hidden under my bed. What's wrong, Okami? Were you hoping to see Countess Vebles yourself? It's good that you didn't meet her, you know. She's a lecherous, degenerate woman after all. I'm sure if she knows about you, she would plan something nefarious and ill-mannered toward you. Already gone to Tlamakan Desert. 3, huh? Yeah, there's no way Master Elsa would understand Japanese pun. Anyway, my head is blank, and I can't think straight now. What should I do? If I go out of my way to chase after her on a boat, it's like confessing that I'm the culprit the moment they found out something was wrong with the staff. That's even assuming they haven't already realized that it's gone. 4. Yeah, at times like this, when we don't know what to do, it's best to just put the problem on hold. Maybe I'll think of a better idea tomorrow, or maybe I'll somehow get the chance to return the staff without them knowing. Something like that. Who knows? For now, let's just let it be. CH 81. Chapter 81. A Father's Visage. May 28, 2023. Beta reader, my _own_worst NPC. Lately I've been having a hard time concentrating, as if my head is in the clouds. Oi, Shiru. I was pouring rum into a glass, but I didn't notice that it was spilling out until Cecily reminded me about it. The alcohol overflowing from the shot glass made a wet mess of its surroundings. Sorry. My bad. I hurriedly wiped it up and gently held out the glass that I had poured the rum into. What's wrong? Is something on your mind lately? Well, actually, the truth is, lately my mind has been occupied with the staff of Lamessine, or to be precise, the magic armor Eminence Rock. It's not like I've been in a hurry to return the staff to the Empire, rather, I was dying to check out the capabilities of the said armor. It was becoming a point of obsession, almost as if I was being possessed by a demonic sword. No, I don't want to be a manslayer. I only wanted to equip myself with the Eminence Rock and try unleashing its full power. Actually, I was thinking of going to Western Island for a while. There's no one living on Western Island, so even if I go all out there won't be any eyewitnesses. Also, I was thinking of checking in with the golems that I'd left over there and see how they're doing. So going there is like killing two birds with one stone. Western Island, huh? Certainly there's no monsters there. But how about I escort you? But Cecily, you're busy with dungeon exploring, right? Well, our schedule has been hard lately, so I was thinking of taking a break anyway. That's right. Ever since Sierra left the island, Cecily's team strength had significantly dropped. Even so, they seem to be working hard and doing their best on the newly discovered 5th floor, and even managed to acquire a large number of magic stones and items. I even heard that Mina's and Rouge's skills have improved greatly. Also, as usual, Mina is very good at finding items. Moreover, she has a high probability of picking up things that are useful in battle. For example, just the other day, she found 6 explosive orbs, which are magic tools that contain explosive magic just like the one Cecily uses, and they look like hand grenades. She even boasted that she had killed a large monster with these explosive balls today. And the stone of absolute hit that she picked up had also been modified into an arrow of absolute precision by attaching it to an arrow of her own making. Thanks to this, her arrows are now able to hit the enemy's vital points in an interesting way. Their party's winning strategy now is to put the monsters at a distance by using magical items and barrier magic, and then use Cecily's explosion magic to defeat them. I think Rouge and Mina would be happy if you brought them along too. What should I do? Forget Rouge or Mina. I haven't even told Cecily about the staff of Lamessine. They are 3 of the most trusted people that I have on this island, and yet I'm afraid that revealing it to them will cause them problems someday. Good evening. My musings were halted by the arrival of the 6 warrior ladies, so I was unable to give Cecily my reply. Tonight, we're about to hold their farewell party here at Shiru's restaurant. The ladies had been handed the award for finding the staff of Lamessine by Count Vebles for the sum of 380 million lemons, with Master Elsa overseeing the handover. They have decided to retire as adventurers, and I can easily imagine that it's not a job that anyone wants to keep working forever since it's so fraught with death. It seems they've been having many discussions about it, before finally deciding to give up the dungeon exploration profession. They're scheduled to return to the mainland on a ship that will depart tomorrow. We've been waiting for your arrival. Please have a seat at your usual table. Tonight I will be serving 16 different dishes which have been prepared by using ingredients from the mountains and the sea, and they are inviting Master Elsa and other people who have been in good relations with them. Cecily, Rouge and Mena are among those who are invited. The banquet went smoothly. Everyone drank, ate, and said goodbye to the 6 ladies. I will miss them very much, these 6 ladies who have opened my eyes to the attractiveness of muscular women. All of them are also cheerful and have upbeat personalities, which made me enjoy talking to them. I vowed to see them off at the pier tomorrow morning. Days passed after the 6 ladies had left the island, but I still haven't gone to Western Island. I still spend my days as usual, worrying about the staff of Lamessine and its Eminence rock spell every day. Every night, after it was late and behind closed doors, I was always playing by changing my appearance with the spell. I would always make a pose in front of the mirror while imagining how it would feel to shoot a convergent magic beam with full power. But one night, I finally couldn't take it anymore, and while having the Eminence rock spell equipped, I activated my invisibility ring and ran through the forest at night. I'm running toward the top of the mountain that is in the middle of the island. The forest was pitch black, but with my magic armor on, I could see what was going on around me as if I was wearing night vision goggles. I jumped from tree to tree, and in the blink of an eye, I was on the slope of the mountain. Normally, I would have been out of breath and unable to move, but I was able to run up the slope without any problems. I reached the top of the mountain in less than 5 minutes and took a moment to look around and catch my breath. It was a perfect 360-degree view of the island and the ocean surrounding it. Most of the island was pitch black, with only a few lights visible in the commercial district and near the dungeon entrance. Feeling refreshed by the night breeze and completely satisfied that I have finally been able to experiment on the spell, I returned to the cave and slowly fell into slumber. After that, as if the possession had fallen away, I finally stopped worrying about the staff of Lamessine and contented to just keep it hidden under the bed. And thus, my usual peaceful days returned. Or so I thought. The woman was wandering aimlessly within the dungeon. She had already forgotten why she is here, and was just spending her days clinging to life. The woman used to be called White Maggot, but she didn't even remember that name anymore. As for her real name, it has been forgotten ages ago. She spent her days hunting monsters and adventurers as a source of food. As soon as the adventurer, whose friends had been killed, turned her back and ran away, the White Maggot instinctively threw a knife at her back. She could not help it. Anything that shows its back to her and ran away, will be killed by her. It was an impulse that welled up from deep within her. She laid out the 6 dead bodies, set them naked, and examined them carefully. She examined them to see which one looked the best. Eventually, she cut out the most tender-looking one, roasted it with magic, and ate it. She has been living like this for many months. After her stomach was full, she examined the belongings of the adventurers. If there was anything that looked sharper than the sword or knife that she has on hand, she would trade it in. Also, there was usually food in the adventurers' luggage. Sometimes there was even salt and sweets, which were not available in the dungeon. With no purpose other than merely to keep on living, the White Maggot continued to wander around the dungeon. It's ironic that she has the innate abilities that made it possible to survive alone within the dungeon. If only she had lived her entire life as an adventurer instead of a criminal, she would have been revered like a hero due to her abilities. She's so capable, in fact, that one day, she managed to almost reach the door towards the 6th floor alone. As with any floor, the entrance toward the next floor was separated by a large room, which had a powerful monster as a floor boss, guarding it. And this one, too, is no exception. After someone defeats the floor boss, usually they'll get a giant magic stone and a hidden treasure protected by the monsters. But to her, neither the floor boss nor the hidden treasure was of interest. Her interest is only in keeping alive and spent most of her days in hunting her prey. If it was her usual self, she wouldn't have taken the risk of getting injured herself to challenge a powerful boss monster. However, she saw a relief drawn on a giant door leading to the floor boss. The boss monster that protects the floor is usually drawn on the door, and on the door, it was drawn that 1,000 strong demons were waiting inside. However, what drew her interest was not the drawing of the demons. It was the visage of a beautiful young man. The visage of a naked, collared, young man, chained by the demons. And thus, from the bottom of her heart, she thought, I want it. Actually, the floor boss is not a monster that can be hunted alone. The true identity of the demons was called 1,000 ogres, and they were terrifying opponents that would multiply one after another if they weren't defeated at once. It was a fearsome opponent that would require a certain amount of strategy and strength. But the woman could not make a sound judgment, since she saw something in the young man drawing that somehow rejuvenated her dying heart. The drawing of the young man reminds her of her father, even though she only remembered faintly of him. And then, she readied up her blade and pushed on the door. Ch 82. Chapter 82. Stampede. It was the same morning as usual. That's what I had thought. After I finished making breakfast for Cecily's party and the rest of the guests, I then sent them off, and start relaxing while drinking coffee. I had left it to the Gokus to clean up the store while I take it slowly and enjoy listening to the sound of the rain. In a world where entertainment is scarce, even such trivial thing is something to look forward to. And strangely enough, as I listened to the melody played by the rain, various pieces of music that I had heard long time ago on Earth seemed to pop up clearly in my mind. I lean back on the sofa and close my eyes, thinking that it's such a blessing that nothing urgent or crucial is happening at the moment. Not wanting to interrupt the music in my head, I decided to continue listening to the sound of the rain. Cecily's Puff, Cecily, Rouge, and Minna were on their way towards the deeper part of the dungeon. Their objective is the 5th floor of the dungeon, which supposed to be their main target for exploration. They knew the route from the entrance to the destination perfectly, and most of the traps on the main route have already been disarmed, so they should be able to reach their destination in an hour. The three of them were walking along the maze of branching paths without any hesitation. I feel like something is wrong today. I have this bad feeling, Minna murmured. Cecily and Rouge also somewhat feel the same thing. The atmosphere inside the dungeon felt different than usual. The monsters inside the dungeon seems to be acting different than usual. I have a bad feeling about this. There were many other adventurers in the corridor with them, and yet they also felt the atmosphere was different, in varying degrees. Many of them felt a foreboding atmosphere. Eventually, the three arrived at the door leading to the 3rd level. The main doors dividing between the floors are usually very large, no less than 7 meters high and no less than 5 meters wide. However, there are usually other smaller doors, either on the side or on the middle of it, which is usually used by the adventurers to enter and exit, since it's a hassle to always open and close the main door. At this time in the morning, the side doors are usually crowded with adventurers trying to go further into the dungeon, and since the side door on this floor is small, there was 3 meters long of adventurers lining, waiting to enter. The three of them silently joined the line, as is their daily routine. Move. Get out of the way, quick. There seemed to be a commotion at the front of the line. Apparently, some adventurers were trying to turn back, and there was an argument going on. Usually, at this time in the morning, it was a one-way street, with the unspoken agreement that those coming in from the outside would have priority. Hey, you're the one who needs to get out of the way. We have the right of way here. That's not it. There's a horde of 1,000 ogres coming from behind us. The woman's voice sounds desperate as she tried to return to the exit. I don't know which idiot screwed it up, but now a horde of 1,000 ogres are on our heels, and they keep multiplying. Hey, for real. Turn back now. Don't you get it? It's a stampede. The dungeon is being overrun with monsters. Before long, while it was silent at the beginning, the sound of rumbling was getting louder and closer, before finally it was approaching the large door they were in front of, and the ground was now trembling. And an army of monsters came crashing down through the large door, breaking it while killing all the unfortunate adventurers that were left behind. 2. This is bad. Turn back, all of you. Hey, send message to the people behind. We're getting the hell out of here. Panic and fear struck into the hearts of the adventurers around. The army of monsters had already filled the large space where the floor boss had once been. Screams, yells, wails, curses, a cacophony of terrible sounds echoed through the dungeon, made by adventurers and the monsters alike. Pilcrow section Pilcrow. Suddenly, a loud explosion rang out, blasting away the monsters while collapsing a corner of the passageway. Cecily, who had been calmly observing the situation, used her explosion magic to blow up the path where the monsters were coming from. Mina, quickly inform Master Elsie about the emergency situation we have here. Understood. But, Cecily, how about you? I'm going to hold them out here for as long as possible. And also, yes, take Shirou and get the hell out of this island. Rouge, you're going with Mina. At the moment, the only ship available on the island was Madame Dama's merchant vessel. The remaining ships moored at the pier were only Shirou's small boats. In the worst case that the monsters overflowed and start overrunning the island, it would be impossible for the rest of the adventurers to escape the island by boat. Shirou's poff. I don't know who it is, but someone shook me awake. Okami-san, wake up, please. I was still groggy by being woke up so suddenly, but it seems Mina was desperately tried to wake me up. Oh, have they finished their exploration for the day? Don't tell me. Did I sleep all the way until evening? What time is it now? My head is foggy, and my thoughts are not clear. Yeah, rainy days usually don't bode well for me. Please quickly wake up and brace yourself. There's a stampede. A stampede? Monsters are pouring out of the dungeon. On top of the horde of 1,000 ogres, there's also other kind of monsters swarming with them. A swarm of monsters. We have to run. Master Elsa is already on her way, but if she fails to contain them then monsters will run out and overwhelm the island. Finally, the gravity of the situation begins to dawn on me. To understand, let's evacuate toward Western Island for now. Tell the others to prepare and we'll leave together. Where's Cecily and Rouge? Maybe they are already on board of the small ship and already made preparation to leave. However, contrary to my expectation, Mina shook her head sadly. Rouge is with Master Elsa. She chose to stay and participate in the blockade operation. And Cecily, she's still inside the dungeon, buying time for us. Wait, inside the dungeon, you say? Rouge said that Cecily was supposed to try a fighting retreat, collapsing narrow passages while moving towards the exit. She's supposed to escape from the dungeon already, but we haven't heard from her, so she might be acting as bait to keep them from escaping outside. If Cecily is still inside, then right now she could be already. A scene that I don't even want to imagine comes to my mind and I can't stop shaking. Cecily is. She is. I think Cecily was doing her best to protect everyone, or at least, she wants you to be safe. Okami-san. I felt as if I had been hit really hard with that statement. Anyway, Okami-san, we first need to get you safely out of the island. After that, I will return here to help the other with the blockade operation effort. Mimina. I was shaking terribly. Not only my body, but also my voice, and I could not speak properly. What is it? Mimina. You know much about the layout of the dungeon, right? Well, yes, but what good would it be right now? It's better if you hurry and prepare to leave. Okami-san. Police guide me inside the dungeon. Mina looked at me with an incredulous expression. 3 Want to help Cecily. I know it's shameful as a man, but I was so scared I burst into tears. It couldn't be helped, I guess, since I'm nothing but a timid, half-assed person. 3. Okami-san, do you even hear yourself? It's a stamp. Police. Wait a moment. Popo, gather all the wonders and Harrys that are currently on this island. I gave the order to Popo and immediately ran into the bedroom, retrieving the staff of Lamessine from under the bed. I don't know how well the Eminence Rock will help me, but it's something that I have to try. In the end, I have 32 wonders, 24 Harrys, and the magical armor Eminence Rock as my fighting power. Cecily, please be safe. Don't die until you've at least did it once with Shirou. Ch 83. Chapter 83. The moment Shirou's level went down, I wanted to conserve my magic power as much as possible, so I did not put on the Eminence Rock yet. Instead I rushed toward the entrance of the dungeon, riding Silver. When I reached the dungeon, I saw that Master Elsa was taking command of the adventurers, and they were getting in the formation to surround the entrance. It seemed that they had decided to make their defensive stand here. I ordered Popo to search for Rouge from the sky, and I quickly ran up to her afterward. "Rouge, what about Cecily? Has she gotten out of the dungeon already?" "Shirausen, why haven't you evacuated already?" "That's not important right now." "Where's Cecily?" Rouge only shook her head listlessly in response. "Is that so?" So she hadn't managed to get out of the dungeon. Is it too late already? However, I don't believe that Cecily's the type of person who would go down easily. As I thought, I need to go inside and help her. "Mina, I'm going to do it." "Do you still want to help me?" I will help you." A woman never goes back on her words after all. "However, if we somehow ever made it out alive, I want you to help me with losing my virginity." I have no clue about the inner layout of the labyrinth-like dungeon, so without her it will be a completely hopeless situation. Even the current situation is quite desperate already, and yet Mina is still willing to act as a guide. By the way, I've told her about the Eminence Rock and have even shown it to her while equipped. "What are you two talking about?" "Rouge, we're going to get inside to help Cecily." "That's absurd." "I know. I feel like peeing my pants now, but it's something I must do." "I'm terrified as hell, and yet somehow, I feel like I can pull it off." "Wonder, Harry, we're going in." While the crowd of adventurers were reeling in shock, I rode Silver toward the entrance of the dungeon, and proceed to go inside. "Okami, what do you think you're doing?" "We're about to seal the entrance to the dungeon." Master Elsa was shouting something from behind us, but I pushed through while acting oblivious and saying, "Sorry, I can't hear what you're saying." "Most probably, she intends to destroy the entrance to the dungeon with magic." "If that were to happen, even if Cecily were alive, she would not be able to escape." "Which is all the more reason for me to go inside!" As soon as I reached the point where I was certain that no one would see us, I quickly equipped the Eminence Rock armor. "Let's go." We started running through the dungeon with Gillums at the front and behind us. The converging magic beam pierced through the horde of monsters. The narrow passageway made it impossible to avoid the beam, and one by one, the monsters died. "To the right." "We're going right at the next intersection." Mina's voice echoed from behind me. It was the first time I had been in a dungeon again ever since I helped Graham and the survey team, and if it weren't for Mina helping me to navigate through the dungeon, I would have lost my way a long time ago. I've been firing off converging beams every time I encounter monsters in these narrow passages, and diffused beams if we are in wide areas. It may sound like I'm playing a super easy mode shooting game, but the truth is, if I make even one single misstep and the monsters manage to come over the barrage of beams, then it would be an instant game over for us. We only have one chance. No continues. Also, no matter how powerful the Eminence Rock is, the person wearing it is a complete amateur who has no martial arts background. 15 minutes had passed since Mina and I have entered the dungeon. Perhaps it's the effect of my adrenaline surging, but my sensation of fear has somehow become numbed. The only thing that I feel is a cold feeling of dread piercing into my heart. With how many monsters are overflowing here, the chances are that Cecily's already. I howled a meaningless scream as I fired off the beams, trying to keep myself from thinking the word death. "We're almost there. There will be a door toward the third floor up ahead." Mina was pointing toward the direction of the door, but my eyes didn't follow. In a darker place like inside a dungeon, my eyes can see better due to the effect of the Eminence Rock armor, which made me able to see something that Mina didn't see. Something that I've been dreading. In my field of vision, right now, I can see the broken form of Cecily, slumped in the middle of a crater on the rock floor. Cecily was lying on her stomach and didn't move at all. Meanwhile, monsters were still pouring out from the deeper part of the dungeon. "Get out of my way." I wiped out the enemies in the passageway with a barrage of convergent magic beams and ran up to her. "Cecily." Mina had opened her bag and took out some potions to heal her, but suddenly stopped, probably because Cecily's left hand was missing, and her whole right leg was gone too. "Cecily is already." "Not yet." Repair target, human, Cecily non-bot. Age 26, status, critical. MP consumption, 3234. Repair time, 216 hours and 38 minutes. It seems like Cecily was still alive, albeit barely, thanks to the physical reinforcement magic that she's been training and polishing. Wonder, Harry, defend me at all costs. I first unequip the Eminence Rock and then start gulping down the MP recovery potions. It only recovers 1 MP per milliliters, so I need to drink at least 3 liters to have enough MP to heal her. I drank so much that some of the potions started to overflow through my nose, but I forcefully drank it all down before finally casting Repair on Cecily. Only after I saw Cecily disappear in motes of light, that I finally felt relieved and sat down. Cecily has disappeared. It's fine now. Cecily is saved now. 1. Don't tell me. Oh Camus, you can actually use magic? It's a trump card that I save for emergencies. I've never used it on a living creature before, though, since it lowers my level by 5. Level? What do you mean? It's not just the level of repair that went down by 5, but also the level of creation magic and all categories in it. Using it on a living being has so much disadvantage. I didn't like it, so I never experimented with it before, but it's the only option that I have at the moment. Alright, now that we've accomplished what we've come here for. My stomach was bloating, and I feel like I want to throw up, but I forcefully stuffed myself with more MP potions. My total MP is now 1982 because my level dropped by 5. I only have enough MP to equip Eminence Rock for 33 minutes now. What should we do now? Oh Camison, I think I just heard an explosion. The entrance has probably been sealed off now. Master Elsa must have been forced to choose a ruthless decision to collapse the entrance, since monsters could easily overflow outside if it's still open during a stampede. Anyway, we need to do something about our current situation first. There aren't any new monsters arrived yet, but judging from the tremor that keeps getting closer and louder, it seems a new wave of monsters will be coming from the lower floor soon. Oh Camison, we need to somehow slay the main body of the 1,000 ogres. Unless we do so, their number will keep increasing endlessly. Even so, how are we going to find out which one is the main body? It is said that the 1,000 ogres' main body have a reddish bronze skin, and it has a third eye on its forehead, between the eyebrows. 2. I see, so as long as we defeat a red ogre with a third eye, it should be fine. With that much information, it should be fairly easy to find it. The problem is, how are we going to find the door leading toward the 6th floor? Even Minna didn't know where it was, since she hasn't found it yet. As a matter of fact, I don't think anyone has ever found it yet, except for the person or the group who has set the floor boss on the loose. The person responsible might have tried to subjugate it and failed, which means that there's no one who really knows where it is now. That's alright. I can guide you up to the entrance of the 5th floor, and after that we can just follow the direction from where the ogres are coming from. They should originate from where the main body is. Sounds like a plan! Exclamation mark. I equipped the Eminence Rock armor again, and then we started running through the dark corridors of the dungeon. CH 84. Chapter 84. Today we're closing down our business. It was a grueling and harsh battle for me. Thanks to magic armor, my attack power was through the roof, and my reflexes and dynamic vision were probably 10 times better than usual. But you know, even though it was just monsters, it was my first time to kill, and the number of monsters that were coming at us was too large to count. They had almost wiped out the golems that I had brought with me. Out of 32 wonders, only 4 remained, and out of 24 Harrys, only 2 are still intact. All of you've did your best and done a great job. It was heavy casualties, but we were finally able to defeat the floor boss, the 1,000 ogres. After all the monsters are dead, the wide spacious room has fallen quiet, and in the middle of it all Minna finally flopped down on her butt from exhaustion. Done. It's over now, Minna said while panting. Yeah. And I hope I'll never experience something like this ever again. I only had 238 MP left. If the fighting were still on, I'd have run out of mana in 4 minutes. What are you talking about, oh Camison? It looked like you were able to slay the monsters fairly easily. That's not true. I was feeling really nervous. I thought I was going to pass out. The Eminence Rock armor might boost my physical attribute, but it didn't reinforce my mental spirit. Even though the battle is now over, I still can't stop the shaking on my knees. Aside from being exhausted, my stomach is now bloated because of how much MP potions that I drank. Oh Camison, cheer up. We've managed to defeat the floor boss. Look, over there. Minna pointed some way ahead of us, toward a small treasure chest. It was a white box emblazoned with gold decorations, and it looked really flashy. It's twice as big as a cardboard box of tangerines. I wanted to check the inside of the treasure chest right away, but the moment I released the eminence rock, my body suddenly felt as heavy as a stone, and I could not move properly. It's as if I had been playing in the ocean for 2 hours and then went up to the beach. My body feels heavy like lead, and sweat is gushing out all at once. My body. It feels so heavy. Here, hold on to me. I was swaying unsteadily, but Minna quickly came to my side and support me. I can only smile bitterly at how helpless I really am. You know, Okami-san, we adventurers live for such a moment like this. The moment when we manage to overcome the difficulties of the dungeon and get our hands on a treasure chest. With a twinkle in her eyes, Minna moves to check if there are any traps around the chest. It seems like it was also her first time to open a treasure chest left by a floor boss. It's okay. There are no traps. I'll open it now. For safety precaution, I re-equip the eminence rock. Alright, here goes. Smoothly, without any sound, the lid opened effortlessly. Oh ooh. We both sighed in wonders at the same time. The treasure chest was filled with magic stones and gold bars. The gold bars were shaped like kamaboko, fish cakes, and there were 7 of them. Each one of this is worth 30 million lemons. Minna lifts up one of the gold bars with trembling hands. The magic stones were also lined up in rows, and on top of the gold bars and magic stones, a stone statue was placed there. It was a small statue, only about 20 centimeters tall, and looked like a young man bound by chains. Okami-san, quick, appraise it. It must be a rare treasure. It's not actually an appraise though, rather it's a repair skill. Repair target, captive angel. Description: takes the item user to any place they have visited. Can carry along 1 companion. MP consumption, repair time, repair is not necessary. Hoa, this is a really useful item. Not to mention that I almost have no energy left to move due to exhaustion. Did you manage to appraise it? What kind of artifact is it? It looks like an item imbued with teleportation magic. Huh? Teleportation magic? According to Minna, she never heard of such magic, or anyone using it in this world. If that is true, it means this magic is even more valuable than I had thought. Anyway, let's go back. There's no telling if there will be other monsters coming here. Well then, let's use this captive angel right away. I don't think I could take another step right now. That's a good idea. Let's get out of this dungeon first. At the moment, I thought it would be fine to use it right away, but it turned out that I'm terribly mistaken about it. Probably it's because we were so exhausted, but I couldn't think straight back then. And so, without thinking about the consequences, I used the captive angel to teleport us out of the dungeon. Right into the entrance of the dungeon. That's right, we appeared just before the eyes of Master Elsa and the rest of the adventurers standing guard in front of the entrance. Suddenly being surrounded by the adventurers, I think both Minna's and my face looked silly at that time. Meanwhile the people around were staring at us in surprise, mouth agape. Okami, how did you just suddenly appear here? No, rather, weren't you supposed to be inside the dungeon? You. How can I deceive them and keep things wrapped up here? I was about to pretend that something unexplainable happened in the dungeon and we somehow got teleported back to the surface. But, it's all right now. Everything's fine. Okami-san has defeated the 1,000 ogres' main body. There is no more danger of the stampede. Minna, you fool. They're going to find out that I've stolen the staff of Lamessine at this rate. I was grieving internally, but the people around me was cheering loudly. We're saved. Okami, you're the best. Okami. Even louder cheers erupted, yelling Okami, and so I have no choice but to wave my hand with a tight smile and I can feel a coming stomachache. Minna, I'm running away from here. I spoke to Minna in low voice. Huh? What are you talking about, Okami-san? You're a hero, you know? I'm sure the guild is going to give you a reward. I never wanted to be a hero. Also, they might not see me as a hero, but a thief. A thief? What do you? Seems like Minna finally realized it. So, what are you going to do now? For now, I'm going to go back home and pack my belongings. Then, I'm going with you. Why? It'll be troublesome if I'm getting accused as a complicit. Also, there's still that promise. Promise? Which one? Alright. Wait, You seriously want to come with me? Of course I am. And I don't mind being a fugitive if that means I can lose my virginity with you, Okami-san. 3. Oh, but I was guilty of forging official documents in the kingdom of Rikusen, so I'm actually a fugitive already. Mina, you were a criminal? Yes. After all, most of the adventurers here are criminals, Okami-san. Rouge. 2. She was wanted for murder. It was a shocking fact for me. I had no idea. But now that I think about it, Cecily too was a pirate. If it was found out that she was one, she would be caught by the authorities. So, can I come with you or not? Well, it's fine. But let's ask Rouge if she wants to escape with us. Alright, yes. Finally, the day where I will become a real woman is coming. Mina ran, looking for Rouge, with a happy expression on her face. Master Elsa waded through the crowd and came to me. So, what happened in there actually? Tell me all about it in details. I don't mind, but this place is too crowded and noisy. I'll come to the guild after I cleaned myself and get changed, so can you wait for me there? The truth is, I was drenched in sweat that my shirt has become a see-through, and I made the request while pretending to make effort to cover my chest area. Seeing that, Master Elsa nodded her head. Certainly. Your appearance may cause unneeded distraction to the women at the guild. Alright, go and get changed quick. Good. With this, I managed to buy some time. Back at the cave, Mina and Rouge had started packing. Shirausen, I heard that you're going to run away from the island. It seems that Rouge has heard the situation from Mina. That's right. Mina said they might think of me as a hero, but I don't care. Even if they do, the Empire might end up using me as a tool. I like creating tools, not being used like one. Rouge laughed hearing that. I understand. I'll go with you, Shirausen. I may look like this, but I'm confident in my ability to escape. Also, I'm confident in the size of my breast. I'll show you the ace up my chest. Look, I've told you before but it's up your sleeve, not up your chest. Although, I've seen your breasts so I gotta say that you have the size to back up your claim. And then, I put the Gillums that I left behind on the island to sleep mode. My ship is small, so I can only take 2 of each type. Thank you for everything. I put them to sleep while saying thank you. I don't think I'll ever come back to this island again. It had been less than a year, but I've has many fond memories. 4. I breathed a sigh of relief as we finally reached the open sea. The only ship available on the island was Madame Dama's merchant ship, so I'm certain they would not be chasing us. Well, even if they did, there was no way they would be able to catch up with a ship towed by the Seamers. So, where are we going? For now, let's go to the western island, since I need to get the gold and magic stones that I hid there. And after that, maybe we can run toward the direction of the Bawanda region? Since I know someone there. Someone you know? Huh. What kind of person is it? It's Regalta's war princess. Tua. However, I don't know if it's proper to just suddenly rely on Chris again, after all this time. But then again, I'm not sure if I want to go on a wandering trip in search of Sierra. Anyway, let's just head west for now. And what we would do after that. Anyway, the setting sun is shining brightly. I don't feel like I can think and plan of anything else right now. 5. Only one thing for certain. Today, we're closing down our business at the inn.